What's good, y'all? I'm here to talk about the really sick Meowstic buffs. I've differentiated male and female even more from one another, with male fulfilling a far more defensive role with the abilities Energy Shield, which functions like multi-scale, and Prankster, which is already a staple that male Meowstic had before. And then female Meowstic has two great offensive abilities in Hubris, which is special Moxie that functions like Soul Heart, so even in doubles you'll get the boost, which is just not too much of a factor because double battles are relatively common, but not super common in the hack. And then Sheer Force, which might seem weird. I'm sure most of you guys already know about the Esper lore, where like they are so powerful. Like, I'll just read stuff like the organ that it emits its intense psychic power is sheltered by its ears to keep the power from leaking out. It has enough psychic energy to blast everything within 300 feet of itself. Behind that blank stare is an intense struggle to contain its devastating psychic power. It can send a wrestler flying. This power can't be controlled, and that's just on Esper. And if you go to Meowstic's Pokedex, it talks about how it releases enough psychic power to grind a 10-ton truck into dust. The power is too immense. If it doesn't hold back when it unleashes its psychic power, it can tear apart a tanker. Its unfriendliness is part of its charm, blah, blah, blah. The unfriendliness and the selfishness, by the way, on the female is why I gave them... I'll just leave it here. The unfriendliness of the female is why I also gave them Hubris. I think it's a very fitting ability for that aspect of their personality. And then Sheer Force, I think it fits very well when you know the lore. But if you look at them, it's like, what the fuck is this psychic cat having Sheer Force for? You might be thinking, why didn't I give him Psychic Surge? That's a very fitting ability. Reason being, Espeon. Espeon is a fast, very similar stat distribution to Meowstic. So if I gave Espeon Psychic Surge, which it has, of course, because all the evolutions have those elemental staple type abilities as one of their abilities, Meowstic would just either outclass it or be outclassed, and that's not fun. I want things to be unique. I want Pokemon to stand out from one another, and so I have to balance Pokemon who have the same type combination to make sure that doesn't clash. So that's why it has no Psychic Surge. I like Sheer Force more. While Psychic Surge is a far stronger boost, 50% as opposed to 30, and you don't lose the additional effects. So, and also you get boosts on, for example, like Psy Shock 95 base power, Psy Strike, and Subspace Tear, which are 130 and 120 base power, effectively. Those moves aren't Sheer Force boosted, so like Psychic Surge would make those way stronger, but Psychic plus Life Orb plus Sheer Force is very strong, and then tons of new moves are Sheer Force boosted. So moves like moves that are already Sheer Force boosted are like Shadow Ball and like Signal Beam and all other moves that are now Sheer Force boosted that weren't before, stuff like Dazzling Gleam, Mystical Fire was, but I'm just listing moves, I guess. Dazzling Gleam, Aura Sphere, Focus Blast. Those are Focus Blast. I forget if it had an additional effect before. It might have actually. But specifically stuff like Dazzling Gleam and Aura Sphere were not Sheer Force boosted before. I know that much, and now they are. That's really great. And yeah, you have stuff like Shadow Ball, Dark Pulse, Focus Blast, Thunder, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Signal Beam, all types of great coverage moves that you can switch between using your TMs. Speaking of, every Pokemon is balanced to have two very viable abilities that it can switch between using that infinite use ability capsule you get at the beginning of the game. So that's really sick. So for male Meowstic, you can switch between Prankster and Energy Shield. Energy Shield is incredible. It lets you either switch in and pivot and take a hit, or get off a certain specific type of utility move or setup move that you wouldn't be able to get off otherwise. And you also have Recover to rejuvenate your Energy Shield, which is really cool. You have Prankster Taunt, Prankster Parting Shot. You have Prankster Mesmerize later on in the game, which is a 100% accurate sleep move. Sleep is reworked to always last for 2 turns, so it's nothing as overpowered. So you're essentially only getting 1 free turn to set up on that second turn before they have to wake up. 2 turns technically if you count the turn that they're going to wake up if you outsped them, but if they're faster than you, then of course they'll wake up before you can attack back. So it's 1 guaranteed free turn of sleep to abuse, which is plenty. That's all you need. Then you can get off a Trick Room, then you can Prankster Parting Shot out on that 3rd turn when they're supposed to wake up, for example, and go into your abuser or something of the Trick Room. Trick Room in general is great because it is now neutral priority. So for most mons, that means they can use the reworked Quick Claw, which always triggers and is what's the word I'm thinking of? It goes away when it is used. Consumable. It's consumable. But in this case, you essentially have that built in, and a lot of the anti-setup leads in this hack will have taunt, so you can actually out-prioritize them, taunt them back before they taunt you, and then you can Trick Room, then you can Parting Shot. Trick Room is relatively niche though. It's a level up move, so you can't reteach it, so it's not the best thing in the world. It's just kind of a cool option if you happen to have Pokemon that you want to use with Trick Room on your team at that point in the game. And then, you know, it's not the greatest thing. It's kind of a niche, but it's cool. And then Mesmerize is pretty great. You know, stuff like Screens, you know, Prankster Screens with Light Clay is incredible with Parting Shot. It's just a great utility Pokemon. And it's not a pushover. It's pretty strong. It still gets moves like Nasty Blood and Calm Mind, and, you know, powerful coverage and powerful stab moves with 109 base speed. So it's more of like a bulkier-esque utility Pokemon that can still be offensive if you want it to be, because you do have access to that infinite EV training system that you can use, instant and infinite EV training system. So you can easily just go on max speed, max special attack for one specific fight if you need to switch in on a specific move and then kill a specific Pokemon. But in general, you're probably going to be using male Meowstic for more utility, while female is much more just offensive. It's not like it doesn't have utility, because female Meowstic gets a lot of the same moves that male does now, and it has a respectable SPDF stat with investment, especially. That's pretty solid. So I mean, it's good. Without investment, it's solid, and then with investment, it's very good. So it just depends on what you need for that specific fight. Every Pokemon can do a lot of different things, especially for like Team Lock Nuzlockers, which is kind of what I'm balancing this around. You can make the most out of your Pokemon, but in general, just really cool buffs. You know, you got stuff like Prankster Yawn. I already said Prankster Recover would be pretty cool, but Recover is more for Energy Shield, if anything. Hypnosis is 80% accurate, which is just a worse version of Mesmerize, but, you know, much earlier on, obviously, 10 levels before male Meowstic gets it. You also have Omni boosting moves with Z Assist. Z Assist will obviously summon a Z move of a random move, and then also give you +1 to all your stats before attacking, which is very strong. You'll become very bulky, very fast, and very strong on both forms. Male Meowstic appreciates having Z Assist with either probably Energy Shield. I would say would be better. Z Assist plus Energy Shield is pretty great. And then you have Stored Power, which only has 3 PP, but it gives you +1 special attack each time you click it now, so that's very strong. And then Baton Pass is negative priority now, but on an Energy Shield, Male Meowstic with like max bulk investment, you can live a hit and then Baton Pass that boost if you want to. A little bit niche, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. But some of the best things that you can do with that Omni boost, some of the best ways that the AI can counter the Omni boost would be, for example, First Impression, which always crits now, so that completely obliterates male Meowstic or female Meowstic through that boost. Tons of other crit moves will crit right through. Focus Ash Pokemon with a crit move, for example, boom, they're dead. Like, your Meowstic isn't sweeping. It's going to be a lot harder to sweep than you might assume, but if you are smart about it and you plan out the turns properly and you plan out the moves that the trainer has and all that fun stuff, and you give the correct item and EV spread, you can probably try to sweep. And you just need to be a lot more strategic about it. You can't just click Nasty Plot turn 1 and expect to win the match. That's not how this works at all. For like a regular, like average Joe trainer, sure, but for any boss fight, that's never going to work. Yeah, there's even stuff like priority phasing, like priority heart swap and roar and whirlwind and all the other stuff that the AI can use to stop your sweep or even reverse it around and turn it back around yourself. So yeah, in general, great though, great stuff. Sheer Force boosted moves for stab is strongest one is Psychic, which with Sheer Force Life Orb off 119 special attack is very strong. And then you have Extrasensory earlier on, which is also Sheer Force boosted 75 base power. I also like, by the way, that Esper, despite having, I mean, it's very strong because flavor-wise it should be relatively strong. And also most pre-evolutions are pretty damn strong just to keep them viable up until they evolve. And I like how it has one fitting ability from each of the evolutions. Prankster fits Esper pretty well, and so does Sheer Force. So I think it's pretty cool. And then it has the same special attack and SPDF as male or female's lower stat. I don't know if you noticed that. That's pretty cool as well. I dropped HP just to make HP a little bit more consistent with the size of the Pokemon. That's nothing new if you see my other buffs and changes. So yeah, I'll leave the video off there. Hopefully you found this one interesting and entertaining. I could talk about a few more things because they can do a lot of really cool stuff, but I'll let you guys figure it out. You can also check out the description below and look at that Google Sheet, but if you listened this far into the video, you hopefully know that by now. You know, yeah, just make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll be back for more Kalos Pokemon coming up. Peace.